Hey there, Mr. Witherow here. This little video is going to talk about multiplying or dividing rationals. So again, rational is just a fraction. That's all it is. And so when we get to multiply, then we get to try to reduce as much as possible. That means if I see something on top that's also on bottom, I get to cancel them out or shrink them down a little bit, right? Oh, I shouldn't put an equal sign. We don't want any equal signs. We just want, because we're not solving, right? We're just simplifying, so no equal signs. All right, so what all this means is that when you have multiplication going on here, then what you have to remember is the fact that this is just really one big fraction. And so if I see b squared, that means that's b times b. Well, I also have b times b up here, right? So there's two b's on here and there's two b's down here. So this cancels out with these two. There is an a squared and there's an a on the bottom. So I have two a's on top and one a on bottom. So if I subtract, 2 minus 1 is 1. This a goes away and this a squared is just a. Now the c's don't have anybody on top, or we don't have anything on the bottom, and same with this 2. So I have a 2 left over, I have an a left over on top, and a c on the bottom. So that's what I would write, 2a over c. And that would be my answer. All right? So your task with this, when we're multiplying, is simply just trying to reduce as much as possible. If you see it on top, or if you see part of it on top and part of it on the bottom, you can cancel it out. Now, how do they make this a little bit more fun and challenging, right? Is that then they start putting something that looks like this, to where now we have to actually factor, right? So again, it's still multiplication. So we don't really want to multiply these two things. What we want to do is we want to see if there's going to be an x plus 3 somewhere down here, or if there's an x plus 2 somewhere down here. That way then we can cancel them out. Again, it's one big fraction here. So really this is parentheses with a multiplication up here, and we can just make this thing one big fraction. And this would be parentheses, and this would be parentheses with multiplication in between. That's what we're looking at. But we typically don't write it like this. What we start doing is we look at it and say, okay, x plus 3 I can't reduce, and I can't do anything with, so I'm gonna leave it x plus 3. 10x plus 20, I notice that there's a common 10 in both of those with an x plus 2 left over, right? So 10x plus 20 is really 10 times the quantity of x plus 2. So I can sort of kind of get rid of this one because I changed it. X squared plus 4x plus 3, x squared, there's a trinomial here, 3 terms, one of them being x squared, one of them being x, one being constant. That's going to tell me that I want 2 sets of parentheses. What do you multiply to get 3? That adds up to 4, 3 and 1. So we said x plus 3, x plus 1, right? Because that's going to give us this, so we can sort of kind of cross this out. Now, since we have multiplication going on, and we have all of this stuff, and all of it's being multiplied, then we can cancel, we can reduce. So what we want to do is we want to see that there's an x plus 3 on top with an x plus 3 on the bottom. So these two things get canceled out. I see an x plus 2 on top and I see an x plus 2 on the bottom. So that gets canceled out. So remember, when we cancel it out, it really becomes a 1 over 1, right? This becomes 1 over 1. So 1 times 1 is 1 over, and I have to search a little bit down here. I see a 10 on the bottom and I see an x plus 1 on the bottom. So that's what this becomes, 10 times the quantity of x plus 1. So sometimes they're going to ask us to factor, and we have to look to factor that. And that means that we either going to sometimes have greatest common factor, or we actually do the factorization. The last thing that we're going to talk about is division. Now, division is a lot like multiplication, right? Because we actually turn it into multiplication. Way long time ago, you learned that when we divide by a fraction, we keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep this fraction x squared minus 5x minus 6 over 5x plus 15. We're going to change the division to multiplication, and then we're going to flip this. So this becomes 7x plus 21 over x squared minus the 3x minus the 4. All right, so now this new problem, so this problem becomes this problem. So now I can get rid of that problem, just take it off the screen. Now we're looking at this. So now it's just a multiplication, just like the one we did before. So we're looking to factor this. So what do you multiply to get negative 6? That adds up to negative 5. We're going to get x minus 6 times x plus 1. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. Over, what does a 5x and 15 have in common? It has a 5 with x plus 3 left over. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 3 is 15. Times 7x plus 21. Looks like they have a 7 in common with x plus 3. And then the bottom is negative 4. What do I multiply to get negative 4? That adds up to negative 3. X minus 4, x plus 1. All right, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. So now we have multiplication going on all over the place. If that's the case, then I get to start looking to see what I can cancel. So x minus 6, but I don't see an x minus 6 on the bottom. X plus 1, oh, I see an x plus 1 over here. So those two get canceled out. X plus 3, I see an x plus 3 over here. So these get to be canceled out. Remember, I can cancel it out on the other different fractions because really this is all one big fraction, right? With multiplication going on, it's just one big fraction. So what's left over? It looks like I have an x minus 6 on top and a 7. I have a 5 and an x minus 4 on the bottom. So that's what I would start putting together. I would say 7 times the quantity of x minus 6 over 5 times the quantity of x minus 4. This is going to be my answer. I can't reduce 7 over 5, and I can't reduce the 6 and the 4 because it's not really 6 and the 4. It's x minus 6 and x minus 4. So I can't do anything with that. So that's my answer. All right? So when you're simplifying or when you're multiplying or divide fractions or rationals, then you're looking to do it this way. All right? Keep having some fun with math.